Want to say hi? Say hi. It's Nina. Okay. I need my spot back. I do love you though. Everybody, this is Nina. She's not too big of a fan of this right now. Alright, hello and welcome to Sit and Knit for a Bit. I'm your host, Melissa. I've decided to leave the door open, so you're probably going to see dogs come and go, maybe even a cat or two. Just kind of wanted to see where it goes, how it goes. Today's a little bit of it's going to be a different day today. Of course, as soon as I start talking, the dogs come in. When I was setting up, maybe one was in here, but now they're gonna, hey, if you want to play, go play out in the living room. This might not work. So I apologize for all the noise in the background, but it's Saturday morning and I love being with my dogs, so yeah, I might end up kicking them out. So, alright, anyway, today is going to be a completely different day than normal. This video is just going to be about my whips or about to be whips. So just pretty much every project that I am working on. And there's a lot, which is why I wanted to do this video. I'm trying to get some of them finished, of course. But oh my gosh, there's some that are from years ago. I apologize about the shaking. My floorboards apparently bounce a little bit when the dogs are like trotting on them. That's Ev, also known as Evelyn. We just call her Ev. Yeah, she says hi. Anyway, I told you this is going to be a very distracting video, so if that bothers you, don't watch this video. I promise they usually calm down after a while. So, last night I was catching up on my temperature blanket and got caught up. Yay! Until today, of course, because one day will be added today. And I was like, I really need, and I was watching a podcast, and the podcast was set a couple years ago during Christmas. By the way, I'm drinking coffee today. I drink pot coffee in the morning, and it is in the morning. I literally woke up and got set up and am now recording, so. I'm sorry. Phone. I promised to put that away. I was using it to get a pattern information and forgot to put it away, so I apologize. Where I was. So, last night, I was watching a podcast. It was Christmas time in this podcast, and she was talking about all the Christmas knits she has done for her friends and family, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. I've got to get going on that. So really just the idea of the lady that gave me the very pretty bag, the one that Cat sit for, and she gave me a bag. Well, I want to make her some wrist warmers. And so I was like, okay, well, I need to cast on and get that done because I don't know when she's going to ask me to cat sit for her again. And I just want to be able to drop it off the next time I cat sit, and so who knows when that's going to be. So I want, it's not really a Christmas gift, but it is a gift, and so I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get this going. And it's been on the back of my mind, and what, if that's what I wanted to do or what not, and I decided that that's what I want to do. A small project. I wanted one that was stretchy, because I don't really know her size of her wrist, and so I didn't want it to be too tight or too loose, and so I picked out a pattern that's stretchy. The pattern is, excuse me, Bamboo and Ruffles Wrist Warmers. The pattern on Ravelry. Oh, I'm sorry, I did not get the publisher's name here. I'll get my phone out. Sorry. The pattern on Ravelry. Actually, I can show you the picture. It's published in Knitting and Sew On. By Sybil R. And I'm trying to find one of the better pictures. So this is what it looks like. Looks like this was some like variegated yarn, but it's got these like little, I hate that you can't zoom in on these pictures, some like little carryovers or something, but it seemed simple enough. Kind of zoomed in a little bit. I don't know if this is coming out very well. I don't have my glasses or contacts on, so your screen is fuzzy. So if it's fuzzy, I'm sorry. But it looked like it was supposed to be a stretchy pattern. It looked pretty simple, but then again, still, that would be another cat. But still elegant, so not completely plain. And so there's that. Oh, I guess I should show you the yarn for it. Put this in my little, it's very hairy. I haven't used this one, but it's got a clear like window so you can look into the yarn bag, and it is Mid Miller Designs. I don't know if the tag is coming up, but that is the tag. And I bought this years ago, probably 6 years ago on Etsy, when I first really started getting into I don't want to discourage anybody about the acrylic versus like wool and hand dyed. So I don't want to say like the better yarn, because it's not. It's just different. And trust me, I have plenty of acrylic behind me, and I work with plenty of acrylic. I don't want to say, what would you call that? But anyway, it's more expensive stuff. Let's put it that way. So, bought it years ago. I'm sure I bought it on Etsy. It does have a very cute pattern on the inside of these little sheets. And I need to use it more. I think I don't use it because it doesn't have an easy handle. I mean, it has this tag, and I'm wondering if I could like attach a handle to that, or to the zipper itself or something. There's just not a handle, and I think that's what bothers me with it. I mean, once again, it's beautiful and it's amazing, and she didn't want to put a handle on, she didn't have to put a handle on, but I think I'm gonna look for something that's got a handle and try to attach it somehow. It wouldn't be hard. I don't know, but I used to use this as like a sock, my sock knitting bag, so it's nice and small. I've got my knitting needle, I have bamboo and DPNs in here. I just grabbed a handful for this project. I always end up dropping those things. I'm always on a walk, and I drop them, and then I lose them because I'm on a walk. Oh, and I'm walking, and here I am dropping a piece of wood amongst sticks and twigs and leaves. I think for the most part I have found almost all of the ones I've dropped. There's one that fell out of my bag, and I was on a hike, and I have no idea when it fell out. I didn't realize until I was 2.5 miles in. So, and that was actually sorry, maybe I shouldn't have the animals in here. Maybe, anyway, that was a metal one. Oh my god. This is what happens when you start podcasting without coffee. And with all the critters running around. I do have I'll talk about that later. I'll talk about that at the end. Okay. The wrist warmers for the lady I cat sit for. The yarn I chose, I wasn't sure what color she would like, and so I just kind of came up with this. I just grabbed last night this just deep, I don't even know, reds, but pinks and purples and little bits of greens. It's actually a little bit darker than that, but at least you can see the different colors. And I was like, you know what? I do know she doesn't, her kitchen's done in red, but like almost like cherry red. I don't know. Last time I was at her house, I kept looking around trying to see if I could find, but she's just got different colors, different places. Some places you go to the house, you can see, hey, they love, like me, I have a lot of like turquoise or light blues and things like that. I do like purple. Actually, I used to call purple my favorite color, It really is a good, favorite of mine. It's dark, and it just makes the house look smaller with that many dark colors. And so I started to like the turquoise. Hello, Nina. I know, cat is begging for my attention. So anyway, this is a Malabrigo yarn. It should be in their figuring weight yarn. It is, the colorway is 854 Rayon Vert. This is going to be the blue strip. And this is no dye lots. Can't tell you that apparently. It was really fascinating. The knitting podcast I'm watching, which is Selma of Little Big Knits. I absolutely love her podcast, and she actually visited like the factory of Malabrigo. I was like, oh, I would love to do that. I can't remember what country it is. My horrible memory. But I was like, man, that is so cool. But anyway, I thought this was just a nice, deep, rich color. I also, it's not a color I would like. No, I do love it. It's gorgeous. And I can't wait to knit with it. But it's not really a color. Hey, 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 don't chew on that. That's an antique. It's not a color that I normally have in my wardrobe. And so it is always nice to use those yarns as my gifts to other people. And not saying there's anything wrong with them, that I need to get rid of them. It's just save the ones I like for me, and then use the ones that I don't really like for the other people. And, especially like this case, I don't know what her favorite color is. Some people I do know what their favorite color is. Her, I have no idea. But I think this is a very gorgeous, beautiful color. So, with that being said, I was like, oh, well, I'm going to cast on another project. Do I need to cast on another project? No, I don't need to cast on another project, but I've got to get this done. It is a gift. It is not even for me. It is okay. Kind of like if you get if I get one of the orders for money, which I have, which will be next. You just got to get it done. It's allowed, per se. So, as I put this away, oh my god, there's so many bags around me of all the projects I'm supposed to be working on. And this is supposed to be, I'm trying to do a quick video. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Speaking of my cat's sitting on it. Excuse me. I know, I'm so sorry. Speaking of the order, on my summer break, my summer vacation, I volunteer and I work at a little shop. It is, this place is at an air show, and it's a little like gift shop at the air show. And I was thinking that it would be, this might be better, be really cool to hand knit some stuff to sell. Everything just fell. Bear with me. It's just going to be one of those days. At least it's entertaining. I thought it'd be really cool to make some small little things, whichever, to sell in the shop. And so I contacted my boss there, who deals with all the ordering, and she kind of owns the shop. Not really sure. I know she does like the ordering and all the issues. Anyway. So I found just some little airplane washcloths patterns. Here's this one. This is the only one I've made. I've been really bad. But I made it in one night. And I figured what was happening was my temperature blanket, which is, I guess, the second whip. So this will be the third. My temperature blanket's getting really heavy, and I have joint issues, hand and wrist issues. I actually now have carpal tunnel in my hands. Anyway, and I think I'm discovering that's been hurting my hands more. I think it's just so heavy with me twisting it back and forth to do, it's just, I don't know. And so one night when I was thinking about doing this, I was having a lot of pain that day, and I switched over to this, and it was a little bit better. My fingers were hurting because it's a little bit harder. It's not as soft and fluffy, but my carpal tunnel was feeling better because it's lighter. So I think what I'm going to do is the days that my wrist and carpal tunnel are bad, I'll switch over and like knit one of these, or whichever. Just kind of I base my life off of how my body's doing all the time. So what's one more? But anyway, this yellow is actually one of the colors. It's actually the standard color for that division at the air show, which is the vintage airplanes. They use this like nice color, which I have a lot because this is the color I use for my washcloths in my kitchen. And so I was like, fine, cool, perfect, I'll make a bunch of these. And the pattern, I'm sorry, I did not write down the name of the pattern, but it's a free pattern on Ravelry. I apologize. And on something like that, I prefer a graph. And so I just converted it, I read her pattern and I just converted it to a graph. So there you go. I have a couple little notes. That way I wouldn't have to count. I'm like, hey, it's 10 stitches to here, from the border. So just easy. And then last night there was another one that kind of looked like this, but it was a little bit too big, so I kind of just downsized it. So technically I created this one. And then there was another one that wasn't free, but it was also too big anyway, I think. And so I just stared at the picture and just created this one myself. And I really like this one. I think this one's going to be cute. It's going to be at an angle. I think it's going to fit well with some of the little airplanes and stuff like that we have in the show. So it's going to be these 3 patterns. And I think I'm just going to alternate them, just to keep it simple. I don't think I'm going to do, I'm going to do 10 of these and 10 of those, which technically she wants 30, but I'm probably going to knit more than that. We have some on standby. But anyway, I have started the very bottom of this one last night because I spent all night making these. So, yep. And you want to know what's really funny? I love clipboards. This little clipboard is an aviation clipboard. I have a couple of these small mini ones, which I think they're half size. Yeah, they're half size. If you do it this one, put in that one here, that's a full clipboard. It was the only one I had available, and I do have a couple of them, but it was the only one that was free. And it happened just to be the aviation one from this university. It actually has some aviation charts on the back. It was actually my very first mini clipboard. I didn't know they actually existed except for this one. So, yay! Just make everything match. So that is in my, excuse me, my wonderful... This is my washcloth tote, so I have all these different colors. You can see I have a lot more of that yellow in there, and so I'm going to knit those, and I would like to pretty much just knit all the washcloth yarn that's in here, or at least most of it, and hopefully not have to buy any. I bought a lot of this years ago, so I feel like the little bit of money I'm making from these is 100% profit, because that money I spent on buying these was such a long time ago, it doesn't feel like I bought it, if that makes any sense. I don't, technically I did. I think some of it's actually a gift. I think I have some gift yarn in there too. Okay, should we go, well, we kind of started from newer, then we'll go to older. So, we'll start with that then. Another project, another whip, oh my god, maybe this won't be a short video, is the one you should know if you've been watching my show, my videos, my blog, whatever you want to call it, is the Roses and Sunshine shawl, I guess. And I got a little bit done on this the other day, not much. This is my like travel knitting. That I don't, but not my, yeah, it's really my travel. Oh god, there is another project. There's a pair of socks I'm working on in my car. I'm on the second sock there. I've got that one done out of the way. If I'm stuck in traffic or something like that, I also do a little bit of door dashing, so when I'm waiting for an order, I'll pull out those socks. I got a little bit of this done when I was getting my pedicure yesterday, things like that. That's just kind of this shawl. The yarn is not soft, it's kind of scratchy, so I'm not really enjoying knitting it, unlike that blue one I was knitting on my vacation. This was the extra project. It is beautiful, and I mean, it won't bother me to wear it. It's just not like super soft and squishy and lovable. But it's okay, and it's coming out beautiful. And I'm just gonna go until I run out of yarn. I'm thinking about doing all my other shawls I've done kind of like this. I've done a contrast or a different color lace work at the very bottom, and I just don't feel like doing that. Plus, because I have one of those already. I made another one, but I gave it to my mother. If I didn't, I need to give it to her. No, I gave it to her. I don't have a pink shawl on my thing. And I just don't feel like doing that. So I'm thinking about doing just a really elaborate picot bind off. I know there's some just different variations of the picot bind off. There's a small one where it's only 3 stitches, so it's these tiny little bumps. I've got a shawl like that, and I know there are bigger ones, so I'm thinking about just doing that. I love the look of the picot bind off. It is amazing. It is tedious for me because I just want to get done with the project, and binding off is usually so happy, just like, yay, I'm almost done. But picot takes so long because you're actually adding stitches in to bind off, so it takes a while. But I figure if I'm not making the lace section on this one, the picot bind off should take less time than doing that lace section at the bottom. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not sure how big of the picot I'm going to do. Definitely more than the 3 picot. I definitely want a decent sized picot. The other project, which I have not really touched, this is supposed to be, I'm kind of just waiting. These are the socks that I was working on at my vacation. These are like if I'm walking the dogs. Sorry, I don't want her to understand what I'm saying. Hiking, which I have not done because it's hot, and I have not gone for a WALK because it's been too hot. Things like that. Things where I'm out and about, but I can't look at what I'm doing. If I go to the movies, which I haven't done, but anyway, that's these. I have one done already. Here's the second one, just my standard sock knitting. If you see my other videos, you'll know all about it. If not, go back and watch them. And by the way, subscribe and hit that little bell so you know when I get a new. This is really heavy. Not sure why it feels so heavy. Okay, just gonna keep going down the list, and then we'll get to those. Let me drink some more coffee before it cools off. The other next one is a project I haven't worked on in a while, but I will actually start working on it again tonight. It is my Packer shawl. So I only work on it during the Packer games. It's in my wonderful Packer bag. I got it off Etsy. I'm sorry. I don't know if there's a tag in here. There is not. I have not looked at this since the end of the Packer season last year, so January, December, I'm not even sure. I don't even know how big this is for anything. I have not looked at it. This is just a corner to corner triangle shawl. It doesn't really have a pattern. I just had found this like lace work pattern thingy in one of my pattern books up here, and been using that. I just took a picture of it and have it on my phone, so there is no pattern. I think if you go to my Ravelry, the notes are there on how to do this. It's just my standard, start with 3 at the bottom and increase 1 at the end of the front row each time. Then when I get about halfway done with the yarn, I will start decreasing. So just like that blue one, it's just probably going to be bigger because I have more yarn for it. I've talked about this yarn before in other projects. I have a lot of it, and I found this color and just bought it because it was really cheap on Amazon. I think it's at Yarn Art. I don't know if I have the band in here. I usually keep the band. I do. I usually keep it in my. Oh, that's where that one is. There's gum in here. Oh, I told you I haven't touched this. This is my this is how I do my notions bag. These little photo boxes. I absolutely love them. They're perfect. They're hard, so things won't poke through and get lost. They can get banged up. And to me, they're like the perfect size. Now, there are projects where I need a smaller one, like my sock, ones. I usually just throw the few things I need in there, or I do have a couple small little things to carry the stuff in. But always a tape measure. I love this tape measure. This is actually probably the worst project to have this tape measure in because I don't need a tape measure for this project, and I love this one because I love bees. I always keep band-aids in here, and in fact I'll be knitting with a band-aid later. I've got a couple little hangnails on here, and that's where the yarn catches, and so I've been wearing a band-aid on that finger. Oh, I haven't seen these in forever. Actually, I need a new. These are my stitch markers for in here. I have also these little, like, I don't know where I got these, Amazon or whatever. They're like little pill boxes, so I put my stitch markers in here. Oh my god, look at those. I literally have not seen these in so long. That's where all my other airplane ones are. I have such cute stuff. I think I'm gonna use this one. I have, so my illness is EDS, hypermobility EDS, and our, those little ribbons, each, like breast cancer is that baby pink color, autism is the, like, basic color, primary colors, and it's, the puzzle pieces. Well, EDS is zebra stripes, and that is because some people know this and some people don't. But definitely in medicine, there's a saying, if you hear hoofbeats, think horses. So think the most common thing, and that's usually your diagnosis. Well, EDS is such a crazy diagnosis that it actually is, when you hear hoofbeats, think of the zebra. And so they dedicated the zebra stripes to our cause, I guess. And I have not really used this, so I think I'm going to use this on the wrist warmers, which makes sense because I wear wrist braces all the time. So there we go. Let me just grab one of these little eyelet ones, just in case I need it. This had come from a necklace or a keychain or something I had bought, and I was like, that would make a cute little charm for knitting. I have another airplane one in here. Just a bunch of, I just usually, I have this little one that's got a dog bowl with a bone in it. Most of these I create myself, like little beaded section I create myself. I do not create the charms myself, but I used to do some beading before I really got into knitting, and so I kind of morphed it into, this used to be a necklace that I got at like Six Flags with my sister years ago. But anyway, I just kind of morphed the beading into the knitting this way. I'm still always on the lookout for charms. And then I always make sure I have some small ones, just to kind of more as a stitch marker as opposed to a progress keeper. So just some basic little ones. I've had them for years. Couldn't tell you where I got them all. But yeah. I always keep these little rings. Those make, just these basic rings make good, like, hey, this is where I need to decrease or increase. Always look out for the light bulb style. I've told my mom, who loves clothes, and so she always comes across these. Please save them for me. And she's made some of these herself for me and given them to me as gifts, and they're around here somewhere. But what was I coming here? Oh, the yarn band. Okay, so this is, Painted Lace Rainbow. Some of that yarn was either Yarn Art or this brand. I never really tell you the truth. I think they're the same. Although this one's not sparkly, so maybe that's the difference. And I think I've talked about that before. I think one's sparkly, one's not. This is kind of, they had made a shawl, slightly different pattern. I think it's like the pattern from another shawl I've done, but that you could see all the different colors. Oh, I guess I could show you the rest of the ball. And I was looking, I was like, it was about this time last year, and I was like, I want to knit a Packer shawl. And I was like, let's go to the store. And I was like, I need Packer colors. I do have some Packer colors because I've been meaning to make beanies and stuff, and never get around to it. And I came across this ball. This is what's left of the ball. It's hard to, maybe you can see a little bit better the colors of what's left over. And I was like, ooh, those are relatively close to Packer colors. It's the yellow and the greens. I mean, obviously this green's not the correct green. I mean, and it's like some brownish grays in there, which fine, you know, doesn't have to be perfect. And I was like, yeah, I remember standing right there going, Mom, you know, taking a picture. I'm like, do you think this is good Packer colors? And she's like, yeah. I looked down at the ball band. The colorway is Green Bay. So apparently it was intentional for it to be the Packer colors. Ta-da! So there's that project. So anyway, Packers are still in preseason. They're having their second game tonight. They had their first game last week. I did not pull this out because I was so far behind on my temperature blanket that I was like, you know what, it's preseason. It's one game. I've got to work on this. So since I'm caught up on my temperature blanket, I will jump back into this. This is an okay pattern for football knitting. I do have to look at it. So it's not perfect because I kind of take my eye, at least when I'm on the front side, I do have to take my eyes away from the football game, but it's okay. It's really pretty. But I can't wait until it's finished, and then when it's like a cold game, you know, cold day, and we're watching the game, I can wrap myself in the Packer while wearing a Packer jersey. So that will be worked on a little bit tonight and for the next few months. Hopefully we have a good season this year. I don't know. It's going to be a weird year. We'll see. I will still be a Packer fan. Okay. I think I'm just going to jump into, there's a couple projects that are fairly recent, but I have not worked on them recently, and then I've got some projects that are very old. So we'll just do like the recent ones, not in any particular order. This project is for my sister. Love you. Someday I'll finish it. And I think a cat's puking on my chair. Get off the chair. I'm so sorry. You guys had to witness that. Maybe you didn't hear much. Anyway, this is for my, ooh, I'm almost finished. Oh, I just get finished. This is for my sister. I have no idea if she's gonna like it or not. She kind of was trying to tell me of something she wanted and trying to figure out what she was trying to explain and what I could do without a pattern was a little hard. I had gotten a lot of this done. I was working on it in class, in lectures. Of course, I'm in the middle of a row, so it's hard to show you, but it's just my standard, kind of like the Roses and Sunshine shawl, except it just doesn't have rows of eyelets. So it's where you start in the middle top with 3, and you start doing yarn overs. You do, on the front side, you do a yarn over at each end, and 2 on each side of the very middle stitch. So you always have odd number of stitches, and it's a garter. She wanted something really loose and kind of lacy. I'm hoping this is good enough. I don't know. It is an acrylic yarn, excuse me. So she can wash it and stuff. I'm hoping that just to finish up this skein of it, this is the Caron Simply Soft white color, that it will be big enough and she'll be happy. I hope. I really hope. It actually really stresses me out knitting for other people, especially when they have put an order in, and especially without an actual pattern. It stresses me out that whether they're gonna like it or not. Behave yourselves! And so anyway, but She is a wonderful person, and I'm sure she'll love it no matter what. This is being housed, now that I put it back, the pattern back in here, it's hard to see. This little clear plastic bag I got at Hobby Lobby. I love this bag. It has bees and it's fun. The only problem is the edges, especially the corners, are a bit sharp. I'm thinking about just cutting the little corners and making them a little bit smoother. The edges are not horrible, but the corners are, you know, like digging in here, you gotta be a little careful. But other than that, I like it. It's not about melting, but I know my melting would not be perfect, so. And then I would just be so mad that I messed that up. Alright. The next one, I guess, will be, oh my god, the Sweet Pea sweater. This is the one that, oh, this is the sweater from hell. I was working on it in my first video. These are my, trying to figure out the color ranges for the temperature blanket. That's the temperature ranges for each color. That's probably the last time I worked on this. This is a sweater I'm not entirely enjoying. Is there not a front? I think it's called a sweet. There's not a front page. There's a front page. Oh. I think I'm just knitting anyway. I think I'm in. My pinner. Apparently I don't have the front page. I'm pretty sure it's a Sweet Pea sweater. It's on my Ravelry. I apologize. Everything's okay. There's nothing wrong with the pattern, except that it has baubles, and apparently I do not like baubles. Now that's nothing against the person who wrote it. I mean, I just won't ever choose baubles again, probably. I don't like baubles. And the yarn is very slippery, and of course the stitches are slippery. And so, I don't know. Make sure they stay on. It's a top-down sweater pattern. The top part was a little weird to knit with at first, because you knit, like, the backers higher up, which is going to be really nice because I don't like things on my neck, even though I knit a lot of shawls. But I can always, like, pull those away. I know it's not much to show. It's a light gray. I think it might be coming off a little green here. It's just literally a light gray. But on the sleeves, it's got these little baubles, and I love the lace work, but the baubles are driving me insane. I have trouble. I think you create a couple stitches, or I think you wrap it a few times, and then you have to go through those wraps, and oh my god, it's just so tight and so I got through that part. In fact, I think you were supposed to do another of that kind of like lace pattern down the middle, and I was like, no. Plus, knowing me, I probably won't have an undershirt with this, and I didn't want lace work on my abdomen and my breast. And so I cut that out. And I'm thinking, although I'm really hot right now, of making this like a short sleeve. Definitely no bigger than a 3/4 length sleeve. I think most of my sweaters from now on, I will make just 3/4. I'm a hot natured person. My dogs are playing. And I live in Texas, so it's already hot. I don't need a super snuggly sweater. Most of my sweaters that I do wear, I end up scooting up the sleeves anyway, whether I'm hot or knitting purposes, whichever. And so my plan is, shh. Oh, this was the project I was working on at my desk when I was doing at home homework, where I was either reading my textbook or watching lectures on camera or whatever. So that's what this was. Because right now I'm just in stocking net for the torso. I'm so sorry. So I'll get it finished someday. And then that shawl for my sister was the one I was doing when I was sitting in class, which starts in a couple days. I have lots of yarn left over, so I'll probably be making another sweater with this yarn if I like it. I also have the same yarn in like a deep mossy green. Well, a mossy green, not an olive green. But this is Drops Alpaca Mix. I love that little alpaca on there. He's so cute. I got it super cheap on Lovecraft. And I got them for like $3, a little skein thing. These are 50 grams. 100% alpaca. This is color 501. Anyway. And it's not terribly soft. I don't know. I need to find yarns that are super soft because I have sensitive skin. So I probably will end up wearing like a little tank top underneath this sweater just because I know it's going to be itchy. But I was ordering online and I had no idea, and it seemed like a decent price. And like I said, I have a whole bunch, so I can make another sweater, a different sweater. And once again, it's nothing against the person, but also there's so many other sweaters I want to knit, so why not make different kinds? You don't need to make the same sweater over and over, unless you really, really like it. That lady I watched the podcast, she keeps talking about the Ranunculus sweater. She's knit like several of them. I need to look it up and see. Maybe I will knit that one. She apparently really likes it. I'm just gonna move them all the way over here. That way I know I've talked about them. What time are we at? 41 minutes. Oh my god. I thought this was gonna be like a 20-minute video. And I still have a lot more to talk about. Okay, the next is I've got 2 just basic blankets that I'm totally not working on. Just this one, just a garter blanket, soft and fuzzy. It's supposed to be just a throw blanket. It's just some yarn I bought while shopping out with my parents. This is Caron Latte Cakes. This is, I'm going to try to kind of hurry it up. Earl Grey colorway. Just different tones of grays and maybe a little bit of white. I thought that was kind of cute and fuzzy and soft. There's only, they only had 4 of these, and so I was afraid, and still am, that I won't have enough. So it's not very wide. So it's going to be a small throw blanket. So, and that's fine. I have this in my wonderful project bag that Jen got me, my friend. She got me that for Christmas last year. Alright. The next blanket, I don't even know why I cast it on 2 blankets. I literally cast these on within a couple weeks of each other. Oh yeah. I think what it is, I cast it on this one and then bought that yarn. I was like, oh, I want to cast that on. This is a nice fuzzy blanket. I've not gotten very far because I think it's a little tedious. Just standard, I just cast on a bunch of stitches and doing a garter, and of course I'm in the middle of a row, but it is very fuzzy. I had bought these balls, okay good, there is a band, on clearance, which is why they're all just kind of messed up. Really bad. They created their own and stuck a random piece of, I don't know, I got it real cheap at like Joann's. I got 2 of these balls. And I think I originally had said, hey mom, if I make a blanket out of this, would you want it? And she said yes. And so apparently that's what's going on here. Don't know. Okay. Then the next, we're nearing the end here. Only 4 more to go of actual casted on whips, and then 2 that are not casted on, but in the plants. Next would probably be my cozy memory blanket. It uses those metered squares like the temperature blanket. And once again, of course, I'm in the middle of a row. I pick this up every once in a while to work on, but it is leftover sock weight yarn. each one gets a little square. You just add it on. I know a bunch of people have these, and this is mine. I am doing it this version where the lines go up this way, and so it's going to have these like jagged ends at the bottom and at the top, which makes it a little bit tedious on adding new squares. It's a little weird because I haven't, anyway. Not much has been done. In fact, I think I have more yarn in here waiting than what's actually on there. I'm going to add these little tidbits I got into here. So that's my cozy memory blanket. It is very nice to go back and look at that, and I think pretty much everything except that solid pink, or almost solid pink, was a project. That solid pink was a mini skein that came with something, and so I just stuck it in here, made a square of it. Okay, then my heart socks, which is hilarious because a spin-off of the Facebook page, Sit in It for a Bit, there's like a sock group that some lady made a sock group, and so a bunch of people are also on there, and apparently I'm on there. And I've not she I think this year she had a challenge where there was a sock along, a knit along, sock along every month. There was a pattern, and you choose your yarn, and you knit that pattern for that month. And I have not participated. I have enough projects and patterns to deal with, but I love seeing their stuff. Well, anyway, one day I'm flipping through, this was like last March or something, probably February, because of Valentine's Day. Flipping through Facebook and saw that somebody was knitting this sock that had, now this is horrible yarn for this, so I apologize, but was knitting this, it's upside down, this sock with these hearts. Oh my god, I don't know if you can see. And I didn't realize, I think that was their month pattern, their pattern for that month. Lordy, there's these little hearts in here. It is not the best yarn for this. And I was like, oh my god, I'm making that sock too. I'm using that pattern as well. And in fact, I found this heart pattern, not in a sock pattern. I just found it in one of my books. And she didn't seem as thrilled about it as I was. And I figured out that everybody was knitting socks with hearts on them. And it just happened to be that I had started doing that pattern, well, that makeup pattern, like a year before. In fact, what I did is, I got a lot of knitting needles in here. I always keep extras. Is I made myself a little cheat sheet on some cardboard. I just wrote it on the graph. I wrote the graph down, and holy crap, I don't even remember which one's which now. I should have put a little legend on here. Anyway, taped it onto a piece of cardboard, and then I taped over it so it's kind of laminated. Let's see if I can get the shine. And so that way it can come with me and not get gross. And I think you can, and I've even done it, I think I could take a dry erase marker and mark on it and undo it because of the plasticky part of the tape, which is what I love. Anyway, I've got one done, and I've started the toe, apparently, of the other one. For a while there, I had this at my old job, and I would work on it when I was at lunch break, which was not very often. Oh god. Yes, I'm literally just on the toe. So it didn't get done a lot. And I think I only had it up there for like a couple months, and I maybe pulled out once or twice. So someday I'll finish that. Next, I guess, is I love and want someday, this is a very, very old project. In fact, this project is from back before I moved into this house, or maybe roughly after I it was right after I moved into this house. I had found this beautiful pattern for some stockings, some thick woolly stockings, in a magazine up there, and I was like, oh yes. But prior to that, I had seen a picture, but there of these really colorful, fun, chunky stockings, but they were in crochet. And I was like, ooh, I want that, and so did my mom. But so I kept an eye out and finally found a pattern, and I was like, I will do that pattern, but I will do those like color ideas, not the same colors, but the color ideas. I'll show you the top. This was in a magazine. It's the Yukon River stockings. I'll show you just the top. Hopefully you can see it. These beautiful stockings, and I'm probably gonna make them again, like, or make them with hand-dyed yarn or something. But I wanted those pretty colors, and so I have a bunch of this. Sorry, I just threw my clipboard at my dog. I have these. I haven't looked. Oh, that's pretty. I haven't looked at this in years, but I have started a sock, and I could not even tell you how many stitches or how many rows are in each color. These are very soft. These are gonna be nice. I freaking finished them. Here's the other one. I think I was doing color by color, so I should be starting the blue next. I'm assuming. I think that's how I was doing it. I don't know. I had picked out all these colors. Oh, this is Knit Crate colors. I don't even want to take these out. I'm so sorry. It's back when I used to put them in jugs. Oh, God, I would have to sit here and stare at this for a while. I have another bag of more yarn, and there's supposed to be a color combo for my mom and a color combo for me. I don't know the color combinations. Here, I can pull this one out. This is only one. Knit Picks Mighty Stitch. Very soft yarns. 20% superwash wool, 80% acrylic. It's worsted weight. This one is color Wisteria. I don't know. Someday I will figure out where I'm at. If I have to start over again, fine. Hopefully not. I'll figure out something. Because yes, I was having trouble with them, but then again, I was still a really new knitter. It might have been one of my very first. Well, I had cabled before this, but I don't know. So I wasn't super enjoying the process, but I know I will now that I'm a little bit more advanced in my knitting. I just need to figure out where I'm at and refigure the color code and just get them done. Maybe for Christmas next year. Oh. It's been on the back of my mind, but way in the back, like where the cobwebs live. One last one is another project. I don't think my mom watches this. Mom, if you watch this, turn it off right now. This is another wonderful project that Christmas gift that I'm supposed to finish for my mother. I believe this was a Knit Crate. This is beautiful pink. I don't like pink, but my mom likes pink. So I was like, I will make it for her. Problem is, I have not finished. I'm trying to find, I don't know. These are called Dandelion Dreamers. There's these supposed to be super easy, socks, but they lace up in the front or something. It's going pretty fast, but I just haven't done it so long. You looks like you knit in the flat and then you sew up the foot part or something. I don't know. I haven't touched this in years either. Like I said, I believe this is a Knit Crate. Yarn, which, like I said, I don't think Knit Crate's around anymore. Yes. And this back. It's not super soft, but I figured it'd be nice and warm. She's always complaining that her feet are cold. Maybe this year for Christmas? I don't know. I'm just tired. I'm just tired all of a sudden thinking about all this. I'm like, oh my gosh, when am I going to get all this done? This is ridiculous. Why do I do this to myself? And I just shove it back in here and don't touch it for months. It's hilarious how I did in the plastic wrap and then marker. I'd have to seriously stare at that again and figure out where I'm at, maybe even have to restart it. It's not going to be fun. Which is probably another reason why I'm putting things like this off, because it has been so long since I worked on it that you can't just easily, sorry, I need an extra hand. You guys can come over here and help me out here. This needs to go into a different bag anyway. Some of the critters have chewed on this. I was housing a orphaned cat for a little bit, and somebody had chewed on the bag. So, which I love this bag. I don't remember where I got it from. I want to say my friend Jen gave it to me, which is really makes me sad. I don't know. Maybe I can sew that together. It's not too bad. I've got some other cloth just like it. Maybe I could do some patchwork on it and save it after washing it. We'll see. Other than that, there's nothing wrong with that bag. The project is a little big for that bag. Okay, 2 more things, I promise. Those 2 are the things I have not cast on. I've talked about them with you guys, but I'm just going to kind of recap real quick. You are going to come over here and put all this away, right? Actually, most of this goes on the bottom shelf, which is why that cat chewed on it, of this shelving. It goes on the bottom shelf, so not too bad. Just throw it over there. Except for the ones I'm currently literally working on. Okay. This one, there is a pattern that exists, but I'm not doing that, so it's just the idea. And this is the I don't know, the wave shawl. I just took the picture and I was like, I will find a pattern that looks a lot like that and just do it myself. In there it's blues, and I do want to do a blue one, but I just don't have a lot of blues available to me. So I'm just collecting scrap purple yarns. And I figure I'll also eventually collect scrap blue yarns and make a blue version. So I think this is going to be the base. But this could change. This is just an idea. Like I said, I've talked about it before. It's just an idea, so it's going into my little idea box, I guess you can call it. That probably won't not be casted on for a very, very, very long time. There's not enough yarn yet. That's why it's called an idea box. The other one is my anticipated fall poncho, which I've talked about before. Hold on, I have something in my eyes. Probably a little yarn fuzzy, of course. It's still there, so bear with me. I'll be blinking a lot. I think I made it worse. I can feel it. Oh, I got it. Which is the summer poncho, but I'm doing fall colors because I wanted a fall color project this year. I will not be starting on this until October 1st-ish. I'm not allowed to start on it before then. And I'll be using these browns in this tan, which I've talked about before, so I'm not going to go into depth. But I'm a little excited. It's not exactly the fall colors I was looking for, but I didn't want to buy any yarn. I really want to use yarn I have. And that's what I could come up with, and it'll be fine. I think it'll be cute. Kind of a neutral. I don't have a lot of neutral clothes. At least, I think I can make it work with some work clothes. So that'll be fine. I can wear it to work. Yeah. Okay. is it. That's a lot. And like I said, there's also one other sock. So what is that? 3 to be casted on. One's gonna be casted on like today. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 whips. Oh, like I said, I need another cup of coffee just to even get started. This is... Try not to cast on anything new. Really, I mean, I have the order of the washcloths, which is my fault, and then the wrist warmers, which is my fault, you know. But it's fine. Those are small projects. They'll be fine. I've got 2 sock patterns going. And that sock pattern that's in the card is actually an old pattern, so if I get that done, kudos to me. I mean, it is like older than this pattern, so not the oldest one here. But yeah, I think that's it. So I will let you guys go because I'm pretty sure it's been an hour or more of you watching me with all my projects. But at least now you have a nice huge recap of all my projects. There is another project that I've talked about. Has not started, is not going to start anytime soon. I thought about starting it after my vacation, but it's not going to happen. Not with those wrist warmers and now the washcloths and stuff like that. And I'm really wanting to get some of these done. And it's fine. Maybe I can, and the fall poncho. So maybe it's a smaller little shawl, more like a shawlette wrap, so maybe it'd be nicer to knit it like in spring. It'll be not so heavy in my hands and stuff when it gets hot again, because hopefully someday it won't be freaking hot anymore and we'll actually enter fall and I can enjoy the season. Okay, but anyway, so that's it for knitting and yarnage and all that stuff. So if you want to leave, go ahead and leave. I just have one little tidbit to talk about socially about my life. So here it begins. Hello. 2 nights ago, I decided to bring home a foster dog. His foster-ish, I don't know, his legal name is Caesar, but I'm not a huge fan of that name. No, no offense to anybody, but I also like to change their names. Plus, he didn't really react to that name, and so I decided to call him Flint. And if he stays, I'm thinking about calling him Flint Eastwood, you know, like Clint Eastwood, but Flint Eastwood, I don't know. That's what popped in my head. He's actually kind of named after Flint from, I think it's Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. That movie's been on my brain for a little bit, and I was like, Flint or Flynn, or, I came up with a couple of other names, but Flint kept popping up, and so I was like, fine, I'll call him Flint. And he's already learned that new name, so kudos to him. He's not proficient at it yet, but pretty good. He's a 7-ish-year-old pitty mix. He's gonna have to go through heartworm treatment, but he just sleeps all day. And he loves to give you kisses. He loves attention, but he's just doing a lot of sleeping. He seems to be pretty happy here. I know it's gonna take some time for him to adjust and feel more at home. It is a big change, and you can't explain it to them what's going on. And I don't think he is thrilled about being with my dogs. Now that he's not a super new thing, they are leaving him alone, and so hopefully he'll be a little bit better. My dogs are ones that if you want to play with them, boom, you're part of the group. If you don't, you just want to go off and do your own thing, fine, we'll leave you alone. They're one of those, and so they've pretty much just been leaving alone. Evelyn keeps kind of going up to him and sniffing him and wagging her tail. Now, I did see him kind of play with her a little bit, so he's not, really not wanting any attention from her, but I was told that he wanted a quiet life, and it's pretty quiet here. The girls do get, into a little wrestling play fight every once in a while, like they did earlier, but see, now it's nice and quiet. This is how it usually is. And like I said, if he doesn't want to join in, he doesn't have to join in. And so hopefully he ends up liking it here a little bit better. We had in the middle of the night, I think he was sleeping, and one of their dogs went up to him and probably was bothering him, and so I heard a little bit of a grumble, but it wasn't a aggressive grumble. It was a talk like, hey, don't bother me right now. And the other dog walked away, and this dog's talking. I did kind of like, hey, don't do any of that, and there was no big deal. And that's just fine. That's just dogs being dogs. And so yep. There hasn't been any food aggression or anything like that. No toy aggression. He doesn't seem to want to play with anything. He did not like the weed eater last night. I pulled that out and he ran inside. He's getting used to the doggy door. The first 24 hours he didn't understand. He was okay with going in and out-ish, but it was like I had to tell him that it's time to go outside. And so I think wherever he lived, it was always, a regular door, like, hey, time to go outside, time to come inside. And I'm thinking I haven't told him in a while. I'm like, hey, he's going to figure it out. He knows how to go in and out. He's going to see the other dogs going in and out. He's going to figure out that he can go in and out on his own. And he has. So I think he's figured out that it's a pretty free roaming place here. But yeah, he's doing fine. The heartworm treatment's going to go fine. He's so chill and relaxed to begin with. So I'm going to pick up some of his first medication here in the next couple days and get him started on that. So yeah, school starts Monday. Today is Saturday. Yeah. Alright. I'm really gonna let you guys go because the longer these videos are, the longer it takes to upload. It is ridiculous. Luckily I don't do the work, it's all digital, so. Alright guys, have a great one. I don't know when I'm going to podcast again because school's going to be starting. I know I didn't show you the temperature blanket, but you've seen that enough, and yes, I'm caught up, but you can't really tell, so it's fine. And I really just didn't want to pull it out. I'm probably going to be working on it. I'm going to go back to like every 3 days because I usually can get about 3 squares done in an evening. And that way I only have to pull it out. It's just so big, it's just so hard to pull it out of that bag and put it back in. I mean, it's like a half-hour chore to get set up, and then, and so to do 1 square at a time like that is just, it's just not nice because you spend 10 minutes pulling the thing out and getting situated, and you spend 45 minutes knitting a square, and then you spend another 10 minutes putting it away. I just like accumulate a couple days and then get those done and then put it away for a couple, so I'm gonna go back to doing that, hopefully not fall behind. And in the meantime, during those other days, work on this stuff. Alright, once again, goodbye you guys, and have a good one.